and happy Wisdom Wednesday. Thank you so much for tuning in and for choosing to spend some of your time with me. I'm Maria Milagros. You're an incredible, amazing, beautiful, intelligent, creative, resilient, resourceful human. And this is a space where we have come together, and during the month of January, we're talking about practical ways that we can return to a space of loving ourselves, self-love, and self-care. If you missed last week's video, I'm going to post it at the end here so that you can understand what I'm talking about when I talk about self-love, self-care, and loving yourself, right? And understanding the root of why that's important in the last video. So I talk about that, and I also give you 3 suggestions on practical things that you can start doing in order to increase your own love for yourself, because this relationship is the most important. From this relationship determines our filters for all other relationships in our lives. True story. And the more that we have, the more that we can give. And the more that we take care of ourselves and love here, the more we let other people off of the hook, because the reality is that's not their job. It's not sustainable and it's not realistic. We have to get better practice at taking care of ourselves so that when it comes from outside of us, it becomes a bonus. Not to say that we should be in a silo. We're made to connect. We're made to come together. But can you imagine a space where, let's say, even 3 or 4 people, they all take care of themselves. They return back whenever they feel like they're getting frustrated or overwhelmed or what have you. They declare it, they acknowledge it to each other, and then they return back to their own little corners. They take care of themselves, and then they come back from this place. And if we're people who take care of ourselves and we're collectively operating in this space where I recognize it's my responsibility, and let's say I am feeling down and I'm in this collective space, the people who are giving to me are giving from an overflow rather than from depletion, and vice versa. If I have overflow because I've been taking care of myself and someone that I love and care about is feeling depleted, I can give from my overflow and help lift them back up until they're able to stand on their own again because I'm taking care of myself. So self-care and this idea of loving yourself, a lot of people will say, oh, it's so selfish. And it's actually not, right? When we take care of ourselves, we're better able to do the things that we love to do and to help the people that we love to help. That's it, period. And so we want to be able to do that without resentment or without the need for reciprocity, which means we have to take care of ourselves first and foremost. So last week, the 3 nuggets that I gave, the 3 suggestions were to pay attention to your thoughts, words, and actions, and to just see where you are or are not aligning with love. The second was to, what was the second one? Oh, get to know yourself. The second one was getting to know yourself. And that one is really about understanding who you are and what makes you tick and what things about yourself that you're like, oh, I didn't realize that, right? Really this honing in on this self-awareness about who you are, what you like, what you don't like, what your interests are, what your interests aren't, and areas of your life that you're thinking, I could tweak that. Right? I could get that to a healthier, happier place. And the only way to do that is to, again, pay attention. And then the last thing that I suggested for last week was to write yourself a list of all the things about yourself that you like. Your personality, your body, your characteristics, the things that you've accomplished. That's really important because as we do this work, we have to do this work from a place of love rather than from a place of loathing. When people try to change themselves from a place of loathing themselves, or when they try to return to love rather from a place of loathing themselves, it is this arduous task. It's like, because you're carrying this huge weight of self-loathing. When instead we cultivate this practice of, I'm not perfect, right? I'm always evolving. I'm trying to figure things out. I'm growing. I'm learning. And I'm going to be kind to myself because this is a process. I want to do this because I love myself and I want to be able to have overflow to share with others that I love. That's a whole different mindset, and it's also what makes the processes more sustainable, and it makes us more consistent, and it makes us more disciplined when we're operating from that loving space. So it's an introductory way to start just like loving on yourself. Oh, here's some good things that I've done and that I'm good at. Oh, that's nice, right? It's important. So today we're going to pull out our pen and paper or your journal and a pen, and I'm going to give you 3 suggestions, 3 writing exercises that again will help you return to a place of love for yourself. The first is gratitude. Gratitude, 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 right? I talk about this all the time. It's super important. When we practice gratitude, we are changing the hormonal and energy balances that are happening in our body, which means we are changing effectively, we're changing our lives. We're changing what's happening in our minds, what's happening happening in our body and we're changing our lives. So the first thing that we should be doing is practicing gratitude. You can write out your list, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, I don't know, go crazy. As many people, places, things, opportunities, experiences, little, big. There's no right or wrong. Just spill it all onto a page. And if you get stuck, look around, right? You can look around and say walls, ceiling, floor, a home, heat. That Christmas tree is so pretty and it has so much lights and it, brings me joy. Little things, big things, it doesn't matter. Things that you're grateful for in your life. And the more that we practice this, the more that we align with practicing with gratitude for ourselves as well. So sometimes it's easier to start outside of ourselves and then to work our way in. So the first thing is get out your pen and paper, your journal, and write 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 things that you're grateful for. The second thing that I'm going to suggest is affirmations. I'm going to post at the end of this video a video that I made a while ago about affirmations and the importance of affirmations. The whole thing is about affirmations. So if you want to learn more about the background of affirmations, you want to watch that video. In this particular case, even if you don't watch the video, what I want you to do, or what I'm recommending, is that you write 5 to 10 things about yourself that you can affirm in yourself. These should be I am statements that are in the present and that have a positive feel to them. A lot of times I will say to people, they say, I don't know what to write. Write, I am resilient. But am I? Yes, you've overcome something which makes you resilient. Oh yeah, I am resilient. Write, I am resourceful. And they're like, I'm resourceful? Have you ever reached out to other resources to figure something out or to solve something or to... Oh yeah, I am resourceful, right? Write, I am intelligent. And then they're like, oh, whoa, now you're getting crazy. No, really, write it down because you've solved things, something. You found solutions to problems. You have done that. If not, you would not be here. Write it down. They're like, oh my gosh, I am intelligent. Write, I am creative. And a lot of times people think that creativity is just about painting. No. You dance, you color, you play, you move. Again, you solve problems. It takes creativity to not just see the problem, but to see the things around it that can create a solution for the problem. You are creative. And they go, oh my gosh, right? And then by the time we're done, I can see that people are sitting up taller, their shoulders are down, their head is lifted. They feel really good about themselves. They're returning to this place of love for themselves, recognizing that they are amazing. You are amazing. So come up with your list. I am enough. I am kind. I am compassionate. I am friendly. I am resourceful. I am resilient. I am strong. I am magical. I am love. I am whatever, right? So I gave you 9. That's a good start. So write your list of affirmations and then allow yourself to really spend some time reading them on a consistent basis, reminding yourself. A lot of times we're looking for other people to remind us how amazing and capable and intelligent and beautiful we are. And the reality is, again, it's not really their job. It can be a nice compliment, but it's not their job. If we're always waiting and looking for that, we could be waiting forever. So we have to take responsibility and do that for ourselves. That's going to help. That's a self-care practice that helps us return to self-love, which reroots us in our natural way of loving ourselves. Okay. And then the last thing that I'm going to suggest is that you write yourself a love letter. Yep, that's right. Write yourself a love letter. It could be short. It could be long. Think about your most loving self. Right? And she or he is looking at you and saying, oh, love, 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 love. And spill all those words onto a page. And then let yourself really read it. Right? I write myself love letters once every couple of months, just as a way to reconnect with my higher self, just as a way to reroot myself in love, just as a way, again, to remind myself of who I am and what I'm capable of. Right? For me. Not for anybody else. And then when we have that as a practice, when we do those things as a practice, we start to change the way we see the people outside of us. We no longer see them as we are dependent on them for our ability to return to love. Instead, they become like this wonderful bonus in our lives. Now, should we help each other? Yes, absolutely. I'm not saying that we shouldn't, and I'm not saying that we should disconnect from community. But what I am saying is to ask other people to be responsible for our ability to love ourselves is not healthy, right? So we can do this collectively. And sometimes we have people outside of ourselves who shine a light and hold up a mirror and allow ourselves to see ourselves. But then if we don't hold on to that and root that, we're going to be constantly, again, dependent on them. And that's where it becomes problematic because it's not sustainable. So that's what I have for you for today. Those are your 3 suggestions, all in writing. Gratitude, affirmations, love letter, to get you back to that yummy, warm place. Self-care, self-love, loving yourself, all the same jumbo, if you will, right? But we have to take responsibility for returning to love. And it's the perfect time to do it. At the beginning of a new year, before we head into the year, reroot ourselves in who we know ourselves to be so that we can move forward from that place, being really intentional about how we move forward in our lives, being intentional about our joy, being intentional about the magic that we're choosing and the energy that we're choosing to spread all around us. So that's it. That's all I got. If you like it, give it a thumbs up. If you know someone who can benefit from it, please share it. If you haven't already, subscribe. I'm going to put it right here. And I'll put the video up here or maybe over here. Subscribe here, video here. Yeah. So that way you can watch the video on affirmations if you want a little more about that. Let me know in the comments which one you're going to start practicing or which one you already use. Yum. And that's all I have. I love you and there's nothing you can do about it. I'll see you next week. Peace.